So here is our £500 console killer PC, gaming PC. And well, yeah, we did have some issues, guys. Yeah, we've had some issues here. Well, let's start from the start. This case basically isn't that good. It was £40. I got it from Ionz on Amazon. And it's called like the mini Aether or something. Don't know exactly. But it came with actually 5 fans, 5 ARGB fans, which is pretty impressive. But the fans are basically 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom, and then 1 at the side, which sounds great. But there was a lot of problems. First of all, the fans at the bottom, as you can see, I've removed them straight away because the graphics card's got no way of actually having any clearance there for the fans. Because the fans actually sit on top of the actual PSU shroud. They don't go from the bottom. So you can't like screw them in at the bottom. I don't think there's enough room either on the power supply for where the power supply is to actually screw them sort of upwards. So that they're up, so they're not at the top, they're at the bottom of the PSU shroud. So I think clearance-wise, that's just not going to work. And even when I first got the case, I had to take these fans out to even get the motherboard in. So yeah, I don't get the point of having 5 fans with the bottom fans, because the bottom fans are just in the way all the time because of the clearances. Another problem was a little bit, the top was actually quite bad for the clearances at the top. So putting the CPU cable in again, I had to take out this fan, which was annoying. And then talking about the fans even further, actually came daisy chained, which isn't too bad. I don't mind if it's all daisy chained into one proprietary system, rather than having all the individual fan connectors as well as the fan ARGB connectors. I would prefer it if it was all individual, but it was what it was. But the daisy chain basically went to a Molex connector. So yeah, that's really, really disappointing. Not even a SATA connector. It didn't, end in the SATA connector at the end. It was a Molex connector. So that's really disappointing because I've actually got a PSU which is fully modular, and I bought it used, and obviously I didn't actually have a Molex connector on my PSU, so we've not been able to connect up the ARGB fans in this build. So real disappointment there. I mean, I did only pay £40 off Amazon for this case, so I'll let it go a little bit. Some of the things I'll let go because it was so cheap. I mean, I do like this kind of fish tank look, I think, actually. And to be fair, the graphics card is actually fitting in fairly well there, if you can see. So it has actually got quite good support for graphics cards. But also another problem with this case, and it's not really the case, it's more the motherboard, I guess. Basically, because I'm using such a big graphics card, although it's fine, it fits in, but the problem is that you can't put the USB-free connector at the bottom of the motherboard. So I had to totally disconnect the USB-free connector entirely. Now, it will fit in, and then you can put the graphics card in, but your connector, that big sort of fat connector, for a USB-free, I'm sure you've all seen it, for the front USB on your motherboard, that big fat connector, it basically rubs up against the fans, and it was just I wasn't comfortable. Certainly wasn't comfortable switching that on with the fans right up to that connector, because if that rubs against the connector, it could break the connector, it could break the fans, all sorts of. I certainly don't want fans, breaking in a £200 GPU. So yeah, I was gonna switch it on like that. So I just took that connector out, and it's fine. It works as it is. You just can't use the USB-free at the front, obviously now. Too many issues with this case, unfortunately. But we have kind of come in at the £500, mark. I'll put all the totals as well at the bottom. I probably have already done that. If not, I'll put them now. But yeah, I mean, to be fair, for £500, you are getting a very good PC. But just make sure you get a better case. Basically, I'd probably spend a little bit more on a case. In fact, we have one already. We have this one here, this is the Cooler Master TD300. Far better case. I only paid £50 for that one as well. So far better just spending the extra £10, getting a far better case. I probably will actually transfer all the components from this one into that one anyway, guys, because I already had it in that one, but I was just doing this one for the actual build and just to kind of show you what it was and what have you. But Yeah, I'm not overly happy with this case actually. I mean, the clearances are fine. It does fit in that CPU tower cooler fine. It's not lots of clearance on the CPU side, but there's enough. Also, the shroud is actually, it's not too bad, but you can see the power supply through that shroud, that PSU shroud. So again, I'm not overly happy with that either. I'd rather just blank that totally off personally, but it's okay. There is breathing room, I guess, through the shroud, so that's something. Yeah, the clearances just weren't good enough, and obviously the Molex fans, no, I didn't think I'd see Molex fans ever again on a PC case. So yeah, we've kind of run into one here, but overall, I do think if you are building a PC for only £500, you are getting a really good bargain here. RTX 3070. We've got a Ryzen 5 5600 in there, 16 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM, clocked at 3200 mega transfers a second. And yeah, I mean, you can't really complain for 500 quid. You're not going to get a lot for that, are you, nowadays? So I think that's, obviously, like I say, you just get a different case. This case isn't good enough. This mini Aether, whatever it's called. Yeah, just don't get that one. I would just avoid this case because certainly a thumbs down. It's just yeah, I mean, everything fitted in and what have you, but there's just too much. It's too cheap, and it's just not. It's not very good. And certainly the compromises which you have to make to actually fit this build in isn't really worth it, in my opinion. You may as well just spend the extra money, get a better case, and not have the headaches, because there's too much headaches. Now, the cable management was actually fine at the back, but overall, I wouldn't rate this case. Up to you guys, but no, not for me, this case. But what do you think of our £500 build here? I mean, I do think we've got a really good build. If we actually forget about the case, like I say, the core components on here are actually really, really good. You can get a very fast 1440p gaming PC out of this, or certainly a 1080p gaming PC for sure. You could push those 1440p games for sure. You could certainly go up to that, but yeah, it is more of a 1080p PC. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think of this little video. I've made a little bit of a different video because of how the build went and what have you. I've just kind of done the montage, and then I've just done the benchmarks after that, which I think probably more people will like, but it's up to you guys. Let me know. Anyway, next week we'll probably look at that. We've got a motherboard coming down, the MSI, I think it's the B840-P or something. So I paid a fair amount for that, and so it's actually going to be pretty good. And obviously that's AM5, so that would be pretty good. And hopefully we'll get our Ryzen 5 9600X PC up and running, because I really do want that PC up and running soon, so that would be really great. Please please comment on what you think of our little build and what have you. It did give me some experience actually building on the standing desk as well, so that's obviously good. The only thing I would say about standing desk, it was a bit too high, and I was having to kind of put it up and down a lot to actually kind of get the cables in and what have you. So the standing desk, to be honest, hasn't been as useful as what I was hoping it was going to be, but I'll just have to keep playing around with it and see how it goes, and see if I can kind of get it right how I want to. But hopefully the overview worked, the overhead view worked, and I've got another webcam coming down, actually, another 4K webcam, so that will help for better video quality and what have you. And yeah, overall, hopefully you are liking these videos and where we're going. So as always, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.